Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to take source material and, well, give you that shortcut to being instantly informed. Today, we're diving into the critical reaction to a 2011 film called Submarine.
Right.
And our mission, really, is to unpack what the sources say made this movie stand out. Because it's wading into, let's be honest, a very familiar genre.
Oh, yeah, the coming-of-age story.
Yeah.
Super familiar.
Exactly. Sometimes maybe even a bit tired.
Yeah.
So we want to see why this one got critics talking.
Yeah, it's important to set that context straight away. Our sources mention that, there are so many of these films, people often have this almost automatic aversion.
Like, oh, no, not another one.
Precisely. You think you know all the beats. So for a debut film, which this was, to cut through that and get highly recommended, well, it must have had something special.
Okay.
So we're going to look at what those specific things were. The directing style, some of the quirky plot points, what gave it that edge.
And the director is key here. Right. Richard Ayoade. Before Submarine, most people probably knew him from his comedy work. Really distinctive stuff.
Absolutely. The IT Crowd, The Mighty Boosh, legendary British TV.
So this film was his big jump to the cinema screen, directing and writing it.
Yeah.
Which the source stresses makes it very much his vision. And that's important because knowing his background, you might just expect an all-out comedy film.
Right. You'd expect laughs. And that expectation actually is where the first kind of critical success lies. Ayoade didn't just go for easy laughs.
Okay.
He deliberately sidestepped the kind of broad comedy people associate with him, and the critics found what he produced, quote, far more interesting because of that.
Interesting. So what did he do instead? Visually, maybe.
Exactly. The visual style is really important here. It's described as bleak but beautiful.
Bleak but beautiful. I like that. Sums up being a teenager, maybe.
Sort of, yeah. And his eye for visuals really comes through. The source specifically mentions scenes with these, vast empty beaches.
Okay.
Gives it this distinct sort of isolated cinematic feel.
And those visuals, they frame the world of the main character, Oliver Tate, played by Craig Roberts. And he's described as, well, a classic outsider type. Quiet kid, analytical.
A loner, yeah. Finds somewhere to fit in.
And because he feels so outside everything, he spends his time observing things, which kind of kicks off the main plot.
Yeah, he's got this dual mission going on.
Right, two main goals.
Ah.
He wants to get them done before his next birthday.
Yeah.
First, he's trying to get his parents back together. Lloyd and Jill, played by Noah Taylor and Sally Hawkins. Their marriage is not doing great.
Clearly falling apart.
And second, he's decided he needs to lose his virginity with this girl, Jordana Bevan, played by Yasmin Page.
Standard teenage goals, maybe, but the way he goes about the first one, the parents, that's where it gets really interesting.
How so?
Well, because he sees the world, especially his family, almost like a science project. He starts monitoring them meticulously.
Monitoring them.
Yeah, keeps this journal, documenting the decay in the house. And his main indicator, it's kind of brilliant, is the dimmer switch in his parents' bedroom.
The dimmer switch. Wow. That's oddly specific.
Isn't it? It's such a mundane, almost surgical way to look at family tension.
Yeah, it grounds his, big internal drama in something so small and real.
Exactly. For Oliver, the health of their marriage is literally quantifiable by this switch. He reckons if it's turned down low, like half power, that means they had an amorous encounter.
Okay.
And his worry, the thing driving him to try and fix things, comes from his notes. His journal shows the switch has been up high for several months.
Ah, indicating a frosty atmosphere.
Precisely. And that single detail, the dimmer switch, as a marriage barometer, it just instantly makes Oliver feel different from your average angst-ridden teen hero.
That's a great detail. And that detailed inner world he has, it only really works if the performances around him feel real too, right?
Absolutely. Which brings us to the cast.
Yeah, let's talk about the acting. The source mentions the film takes its time, lets characters develop.
It does. It's deliberately paced, not rushed. Gives everyone space. And the actors, yeah, they really step up.
Okay.
The young leads first, Craig Roberts as Oliver and Yasmin Page as Jordana. Both are called excellent.
I praise.
Yeah, the source credits their mature and thoughtful performances with basically carrying the film. Which is saying something, because the adult cast is strong, too.
That's interesting, though. With Ayoade having such a specific vision, did the veteran actors, like Sally Hawkins as the mom, Jill, did they ever risk overshadowing the kid's story?
It's a fair question, but the review suggests no, actually. Sally Hawkins is praised specifically for being really compelling without, stealing the show.
Okay.
The source notes she's often great even in smaller roles, but here she brings that. That weight needed to make Oliver's worry about his family feel totally genuine. She's like the fragile thing he's trying to save.
Gotcha. And then that fragile situation gets a big shakeup with the arrival of another character.
Oh, yes. Graham Purvis, Paddy Considine.
He moves in next door. An old flame of Jill's.
That's him. And he's described as this larger-than-life, rock star-like motivational speaker.
Wow, okay. So the polar opposite of Oliver's quiet dad, Lloyd.
Totally. He's clearly set up as this major obstacle for Oliver's plan. And Considine, who's, a really respected dramatic actor,
Yeah.
he just apparently throws himself into this sleazeball role, completely commits.
And how do we know he's a sleazeball? Is there a visual clue?
There is. The source makes a point of mentioning it. Purvis has a really dodgy mullet.
Dodgy mullet. Perfect. Yeah, that's like instant shorthand, isn't it?
It totally is. Tells you everything you need to know or suspect about this guy disrupting Oliver's little world.
It's another one of those specific kind of quirky details that makes the film stick with you.
Right. It lets the film be visually interesting and specific, but still keeps the emotional stuff grounded. It gets the power of using just the right image.
Okay, so we've got the direction, the acting, the specific details. What about the sound? The music often plays a big role in films like this.
Good point. And the source definitely highlights the soundtrack here, suggests it's almost like another character.
Really? How so?
Well, specifically, it mentions there are 5 original songs by Alex Turner from the Arctic Monkeys.
Ah, okay. Big name.
Yeah, but it's not just name-dropping. The source is clear about how the songs work in the film. They apparently complement the visuals perfectly.
Okay, so how do they complement that bleak but beautiful look we talked about? Are they upbeat? Sad?
Definitely leaning towards reinforcing the mood. The music adds this layer of melancholy and maybe wry observation.
Ah, matching Oliver's perspective.
Exactly. It's not just a pop soundtrack slapped on top. It feels like part of Oliver's internal world, especially, the source suggests, during those shots of the empty beaches. It reinforces that isolation.
So it's another element that feels really integrated. Makes the whole thing feel cohesive, especially for a debut.
Yeah, another layer of thoughtful artistry.
Okay, so let's pull it all together then. Ayoade's distinct style, those really specific, quirky character bits, the dimmer switch, the mullet, plus the strong acting, the integrated music. How did the critics summarize it all?
The consensus seems pretty clear. Submarine gets called a very impressive film debut
Nice.
and praised for having superb acting from all involved. The review basically concludes that all these elements, the specificity, the tonal control, they managed to transform what could have been just another coming-of-age story into something, unique. The memorable verdict.
Emphatic, really. Highly recommended.
Right. And it seems like what really makes it land, according to the source, is how it deals with Oliver's view of himself. He thinks he's this master strategist, got all the cunning needed to fix his parents' marriage and succeed with Jordana.
Yeah, he's got this high opinion of his own schemes.
But the film finds its heart, and maybe its humor, in the gap between that self-image and his actual attempts, which are described as kind of clumsy and doomed. Definitely. He's trying to control this world that's just fundamentally messy and uncontrollable.
Which leads us, I guess, to that final thought for you, the listener, to chew on.
Yeah, we started off by saying these coming-of-age films are so common, they can create that automatic aversion.
Right.
So the question is, what does it actually take beyond, obvious talent or a cool soundtrack for a first-time director to make such a familiar genre feel fresh again? Is the secret just that specificity, like forcing you to look really closely at something mundane like a dimmer switch and suddenly finding something universal in it again, making the personal feel big?
Something to think about.
No.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into the sources on the 2011 film Submarine. We hope you enjoyed digging into this with us. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.